Hey, fellow freaksters, it's Tim from the Moratorium. Just here to remind you that if you enjoy what you hear, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We're just a couple of small-town nerds trying to make sweet geek love to your ear holes, and we can use your support. Look for us on your favorite social media, or contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Now that that's out of the way, on with the shenanigans. Welcome to the Moratorium. I'm your host, Tim Kornman. Each week I will be joined by some esteemed, and I use that term loosely, movie watchers, and breaking down some of the weirdest and strangest films to ever, not necessarily, grace the big screen. These are the deep dive oddities and backroom bootlegs that appeal only to the die-hard film fans. So sit back and enjoy the ride into the dark vault of the movie Moratorium. Are you saying hello, hello?
I think that's Murder by Death.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's James Coco that says that. Yeah, but I was thinking about, and have been thinking about, the guy from Romancing the Stone. Did we ever figure out who that is?
Which one?
Not the bad guy, but the
no, the one
kind of
John Wilder.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, we talked about him one episode. That was early on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's on my mind a lot, and also the tall guy to Danny DeVito. You know, the
right,
his brother.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. You think about them often. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. His name is Zach. What do you do with that information? He is stone cold. Looks like a, Scarface villain or something. His name's Zach. Short for Zachary, I assume. Zach Norman. Okay, enough of that. Glad I
typed in Romancing the Stones and I went totally the wrong movie.
Oh, and he was in Cadillac Man.
So this guy's name was Alfonso Arau. A-R-A-U.
Okay. Who is this?
And he played Juan in Romancing the Stone.
Played Juan.
Yeah. And he was El Guapo in Three Amigos.
Yes.
That's how we got him.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God we've gotten over that hurdle.
Jean Wilder?
Of Googling something.
Mm-hmm.
Pepe, the mule. Pepe. It was like a Jeep, wasn't it? Like
it was a cool vehicle. I don't know what the fuck it was.
I know. We need to get to the bottom of that. And we need to figure out what truck Michael J. Fox got at the end of Back to the Future. I think, was it Nissan?
Nah, was it?
I'm looking at it right now. Hang on.
Oh.
Who's the girl in that?
Not Elizabeth Shue, not the first one.
No. And it for sure wasn't the girl from Christine. I always forget her name. She has like three names. Mary something.
No, that wasn't her.
It's Toyota. It's a Toyota.
Was it Toyota?
Yeah, it's pretty
badass.
badass.
Claudia Wells.
No.
Claudia Wells was the girl, right?
Oh, in Back to the Future.
Yes. No.
I thought
she is not the vehicle that Michael J. Fox was driving.
The less said about that, the better. Who am I thinking of? It's the girl from Night of the Comet is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Anyway, have we said what the show is and who we are?
No.
I don't think we did.
No, we never do till about 10 minutes into the show.
Really?
Right. It's an ongoing theme.
I guess we figure if you're listening to the 10th episode, you would have listened to
at least one other. Or if you just happened upon it, you're probably thinking, what the fuck are these guys doing?
And then you're like, oh, and then you just turn it off.
Click.
Did you hang up?
No. I just said click. All right, so welcome to the moratorium. Wait. Yarn wall? Moratorium. Yes, welcome to the moratorium. We're doing a movie this week.
Are you sure?
Maybe.
Because you sound a little
There was
confused.
an episode, a couple of episodes ago, that I introduced it incorrectly, and I totally had to cut it out. Because can't make that mistake.
Yeah, that seems pretty real rookie move.
I'm constantly editing on 1 or 2 episodes while we're recording, so sometimes I'm old. My brain cells are old.
Yeah.
My name's Tim Kornman. And
wow.
With me as always is...
I'm Jason Walker. When you said your name, it sounded like it was a revelation to you. You've been trying to think of your own name, and you finally did it.
Yeah, it just drifted in and out.
Mm-hmm.
See? That was all my method acting.
I think it's when you're editing these shows, and you just kind of go into like a fugue state. Your eyes are rolled up in your head.
Like many of the actors in... Lucio Fulci's movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Where do you think I was going?
Oh, I'm just bracing for the for what this is going to be, so this is your choice. So why don't you introduce it?
Well, this week we are doing Caveman, 1981, hilarious goofball comedy. Caveman, which reads, full description here on IMDb, a caveman seeks revenge on a much larger competitor for the hand of a beautiful cave woman. That's it. And that is still more English language that is in the entire movie.
Yeah. I mean, it can be summed up in a small paragraph, like 2 sentences.
That was just 1 sentence.
Okay, yes, exactly. Or 1. Yeah.
Yeah. But starring lovable drummer Ringo Starr.
Sir Ringo Starr.
Did he get knighted?
Mm-hmm. I think that's... all the Beatles are, the Beatles are dead, but...
Can you knight somebody that's already passed?
Yeah, probably. So you got a sword handy.
Does the Queen just stand over his grave with a sword?
Maybe. Yeah. That's how I assume. You just have to have a sword.
Wow. See, that brings me right back to, for some reason... I happened upon a GIF of a GIF or a GIF. Everybody's going to argue. I'm going to call it a GIF. I don't care what you say. Of Conan the Librarian.
From is that UHF?
That was UHF.
Yeah, I love it.
Where he just splits that kid in half. Yes. Was he returning the book late or something?
He said, "Learn the Dewey Decimal System," and just chopped him in half.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that movie, and the Rambo part.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, I wonder if the same guy did like the special effects for Fat and all of that, because it kind of looks similar.
Yeah, could be. Well, that'll be down another long hole.
Yeah, that seems like something we should discuss,
or that we should already know.
Or that we have discussed and we just forgot it.
Exactly. Well, the rest of this cast is pretty cool cast. Dennis Quaid, young Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
Shelley Long is adorable in this.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing, that she is just... I think she has like a very kind of method acting style. I didn't look her up at all, but she just seems classically trained, actor.
I read this was her first movie. Yeah. It's her first feature-length film.
Hey, I can't think of a lot of other movies with her besides... An
Outrageous Fortune.
Oh, that's right. Holy crap. Which she's basically like playing Diane in that too. Right?
Probably so, yeah.
get the feeling that Diane isn't like too far away from, because she's in Modern Family too, and she's just sort of the same way.
And I think I read something in here in Caveman's trivia that said that when Shelley Long
her audition,
that she spoke in Cavemanese.
Yeah, sure.
Can I just make that up?
You might want to. We'll bring it up later on, and you can. In the meantime, you can think of a better one.
Okay.
Cavemanese.
Sounds delicious.
It does. The little like pesto.
Before she met Sir Ringo Starr, and the two fell in love, Barbara Bach is on record saying that she was originally disappointed that the lead part had gone to him instead of a top comedian like Dudley Moore.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I'm with her, but still.
A top comedian, Dudley Moore. It's a small stretch.
But although that's the thing. That's how I feel about like Rowan Atkinson. A lot of people only know him as Mr. Bean because I guess Mr. Bean was like wildly popular, in the early 2000s or like late 90s or something. But I hate that show. But I don't hate it. But it's like someone watching Mr. Bean and never having seen like Blackadder or something where he is just like, over the top acting, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
About Barbara Bach.
Oh yeah, okay.
Big booby Bach.
She was upset that a living legend, a knight, I guess maybe it wasn't at that time, but like, she took one look at him and was like, oh, man, Ringo.
Then she saw his millions and said, you know what? I think we're good.
I'll let him paw at me. And just.
But so I was wondering about this with that comment about Dudley Moore. I guess he was just off of doing Holy Moses. You remember Holy Moses?
Okay. Sure. I must have seen it back in the day, but I couldn't tell you. It's not another George Burns one, is it? Like
no, Holy Moses. It's a Gary Weiss film. Ringing means absolutely nothing to me. But if you remember Holy Moses, I mean, he was him and Lorraine Newman.
Oh boy,
they were visiting the Holy Land, and I think he was knocked unconscious and somehow and had a fever dream that he was Moses.
Okay.
Or no, maybe he wasn't Moses, but he was in biblical times. It was funny. It was. I mean, there's a picture here of Richard Pryor in Pharaoh's, what would you call it?
Oh, that's where that came from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, he's like wearing a skirt and like a headdress and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was 1980. 1981 was actually Arthur. So.
Man.
Yeah.
Good movie. I love Arthur. Seems like Arthur 2 on the Rocks was playing a lot when I was a little kid. It was always on Cinemax. And it was for sure the lesser of the.
Right. So other notable actors in this, Jack Gilford.
Yes.
Which I had to look him up because he has that face. And it didn't dawn on me.
From somewhere, but.
Yeah. He was in Cocoon.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
he was Bernie in Cocoon.
Yeah, and he was he had kind of like a sad, or not a sad character. He just didn't want to go along with the, my God, are we going to do Cocoon? Wait, we can't.
No, we can't.
It's an actually popular movie.
But there is an actor in here that I wanted to bring up. Carl Lumbly.
Uh-huh.
He played Bork.
Yes.
All right. And it's not like, the characters in Caveman are easy to pick out with their names because it's just all, they're speaking nearly gibberish anyway. Comprehensible gibberish, but.
And also, they're not saying all that stuff, which I was very disconcerting. It was like all of their dialogue, most of their dialogue is just dubbed in later, like Shelley Winters.
Wow, that's a
Shelley
different movie
Long.
altogether.
She's the one with the beard, right? The big guy? No, Shelley Long. She seems to be like, they have like a mic,
Mhm.
but literally everybody else, like the guy that you were just talking about, Jack Gilford, every single one of his lines are just dubbed in later,
And he plays
Anyway.
Gog.
Yeah, Gog.
Gog.
He almost drowns in a tar pit.
But this guy, Carl Lumbly, he was just recently, he played Dick Halloran, in Dr. Sleep.
Okay, so I was going to reveal this to you later. Just to set the record straight, I've seen this movie like 100 times. It was always on like afternoon TV.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being excited when I saw it like on the TV guide or something, because it's everything that a young kid would think is funny. It's a lot of like slapstick, just like pratfalls and stuff like that.
Farts, they're fart jokes.
Oh, God. I'm sure I laughed hysterically at, there's more than one fart in this movie, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
How many would you, if you had to guess how many farts? A lot. More than.
Is there a fart counter?
I think we just created something. You know what I don't need to see? John Matuzak's farting while he has a loincloth on.
You like that?
Have you described what the movie is yet for like
just that one line?
And really, that is it. It's a lot of people running around in Mexico or something.
I think that's exactly where it was filmed.
Yes.
Filming locations: Durango, Mexico. I can't pronounce these. It's another Mexico, just Mexico, and Mexico City.
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of people in what's caveman gear, like just furs and stuff like that.
Pelts,
sure. Of course. Running around in Mexico. It's sort of the same thing for like Monument Valley, like where they film all the westerns and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of rocks.
We'll have to get credit to director.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Can we just go back for a second because I got sidetracked?
Do that rewind noise. Okay.
Okay, so what I was saying, Carl Lumbly, that's a weird name.
Yes.
His name in the movie is Bork. His character's name is Bork. He was Mantis, like acronym Mantis, M period A, it was a show on Fox that I freaking loved, and he was credit him as the first black like superhero kind of,
Okay.
or at least the first movie with a African American leading actor. Anyway, he's kind of like a Tony Stark. He's rich, but he's a paraplegic.
Yeah, I have never seen this.
Oh my God, dude, you gotta watch it. It's awesome.
It reads, a brilliant wheelchair-bound scientist invents a form of exoskeleton called the Mechanically Augmented Neurotransmitter Interception System, or MANTIS, that turns him into a superhero and gives him the ability to fight crime wave that is engulfing the city. Dun, dun, dun.
When you create a acronym, it's weird that all those words put together just happen to spell a, like proper name. So they have to think up the acronym first and then try to fit words into, Yeah,
I don't know. I've done this more than one time. I was just explaining to my wife about Lumbly.
Lumbly?
Yeah. And I think I said, this guy, he played Dick Halloran in Dr. Sleep, which in The Shining was played by, I said, Catman Scruthers.
Did you have a stroke or something?
I think I did. So,
yeah. Well, if you're gonna disrespect the scat man like that.
So anyway, I was just bringing up the Beastie Boys documentary real quick because they said that the originally Beastie was an acronym, and I was trying to find that acronym.
Oh man!
But the B in Beastie stood for boys, and they said, well,
Sure.
which was kind of redundant when you got boys and boys. So
yeah, you can't. Yeah. When we do the yarn wall next week, we'll have come up with some acronyms that we can throw around.
Maybe in the yarn wall, we'll actually get around to watching this film.
Speaking of, this sounds like a yarn wall because we have literally not talked about any aspect of the movie.
We're 25 minutes into the podcast and we have not even started the credits.
I think the reason is there's not a lot there. It's Ringo Starr trying to win the love of a cave girl.
Yep.
Who is shacking up with
Sloth.
With Sloth.
Which John Matuzak.
Yeah.
I mean, he died at an early age.
Yeah, he died when he was like in his 30s or something, didn't he?
And he's like 38, I think, when he died.
Wow. It had to be something weird because he's like super,
He looks in good shape. I mean, he was a football player, most notably. 38, he died. Yeah. And it says just heart failure. He played for the Oakland Raiders, for those who...
Right, yeah.
Who he competed in the 1978 World's Strongest Man competition, and he weighed 308 pounds.
Jesus.
That was just 3 years before this film was made.
Okay, just to try to... I mean, it's just the thinnest of plot. There is a ongoing... The tribe that he is that Sir Ringo Starr has fallen in with are kind of like they're like brutes, and the guy John Matusak looks eerily like Bronson from Street Trash. He's getting like red hair instead of
John Matusak is Tunda.
Yes.
Tunda's the leader. And they're just all scavengers trying to just constantly looking for food.
Yes. But they all, they right. Okay. No, we're not going to do that, are we? I refuse to.
You want to do the entire podcast in the Cavemanese?
Oh my God.
It's still not sticking, is it?
I looked at a thing that was vocab terms and what they meant, what the translation was.
But there's only like 12 words.
Just right out front. It's the comedy.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be like, it's a slapstick comedy, right? So this came out in 1981. Do you know what else came out in 1981?
Quest for Fire.
Well, maybe that too, which I watched a little bit of. And
did you accidentally start that and think it was this?
No, but I watched more of it on YouTube than I probably should have. Also, another movie that I remember playing constantly when I was a child. But anyway.
What other movie were you thinking of? In 1981?
Oh,
came out?
History of the World Part 1?
Yes.
Which had it kind of explores different...
right. It has a caveman segment.
Yes. Which is, I would say, it's Mel Brooks. So obviously they did it better than this. You know what I mean? But it was only a small skit.
Did they have any dinosaurs in that? I don't remember.
Yeah. Sid Caesar gets eaten by a dinosaur. Sid Caesar without his shirt on is... I don't know what to say about it. It's one of those things like when groundskeeper Willie pulls his shirt off and he's like ripped,
like,
Yeah, that's what it is. Like Sid Caesar takes his, suit off. He's like a old man health buff, kind of like
he's a Jack LaLanne.
Yeah, Jack LaLanne. What was the like Regis Philbin? It's weird when you see Regis Philbin because he's like jacked. Is he dead now? Okay,
Regis?
anyway.
Probably not. So we open up with 1 Zillion B.C.
Mm-hmm.
And I read this too because it says October 9th.
Yeah.
Which seems like it's a joke. That was John Lennon's birthday.
Yeah, there's that.
So,
do you think in this podcast, after revealing that, do you think we'll ever talk about the Beatles again?
Probably not.
Okay.
Not for a while.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's fine. It's just, they're like the greatest band ever.
Mm-hmm. And, I believe that even Ringo Starr actually I think he did a good job acting in this. I enjoyed it. He was funny.
Yeah.
Back to the film, since I'm 3 minutes into the film and a toque or Ringo is looking for
Sir
food.
Ringo Starr.
Sir, oh my God.
Just don't want you to forget that he is a knight.
And he finds a lizard. He's going after the lizard. And this is our first introduction to a dinosaur, which they use these dinosaurs quite often in this film.
Uh-huh.
And I love the stop motion animation.
Me too.
It's not cheap.
No,
it's not cheaply done. It's fun.
Yeah, and it's not meant to be, terrifying like Jurassic Park, It's kind of tongue-in-cheek goofy,
But it's not as cheap as like Land of the Lost.
No. It's actually got some, and that was one thing that I did not look up, and I don't even know if you did either, but it does look good, and I was wondering if it was somebody, if someone had done the like special effects that we had ever heard of before.
Well, most notably, Jim Danforth.
Okay.
Jim Danforth has worked in films doing animatronics, matte artist work, animation, all sorts of shit for a long fucking time.
Cool.
He started out with like doing The Time Machine in 1960.
Wow, that's a cool movie too.
So, Jack the Giant Killer.
Yeah, great.
He did, we talked about Equinox, 1970. Mm-hmm. Yes.
He was, okay.
He was a cell animator, matte artist, special equipment, and special photography. Willy Wonka. He was a model animator for the Wonkavator. A lot of these things were uncredited.
Huh. I wonder why.
I wanted to go down this little wormhole, and I know we're really getting off topic constantly on this film.
Just real quickly, this is what I think about this. This movie probably will give us the most like dead.
Yes.
So much of this movie is just, people in loincloths just walking around,
just constantly looking for food.
Yeah.
Sir Ringo Starr wants to get laid.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's his journey through this movie, is to try to.
And maybe this is the first movie that we cover. We don't actually go scene by scene because it's not necessary.
Thank God. That's a chameleon, by the way. I keep on calling it an iguana, and it's actually a chameleon.
Yeah, got the googly eyed, but he's got a spike on his nose,
but
and a couple of spikes on his tail. And later, when we see him riding it, I think that's super well done.
Yeah,
it's so damn.
It's the
fun.
One cool thing in the movie. I like the Tyrannosaurus Rex too. It looks really cool.
All right, I want to go back into Jim Danforth here a little bit more for his work, because he has been uncredited on so many different things.
Why uncredited?
I don't know. On this particular movie, he worked on it for about 3/4 of the movie, and I read somewhere, I think it was just on Wikipedia, that Yeah, he left the project about 2/3 of the way through, and it was basically because there was a clash between the Directors Guild, and I guess he was given a directing credit.
Oh, it was like a union thing because he did so much work.
Yes. So,
well,
but Danforth also, he worked with Rick Breaker. He worked
Rick
with
Breaker?
Rick Breaker 19.
Say it again.
Danforth he worked along with Rick Baker.
Okay.
And he was hired to do some design effects for Edward Pressman's proposed production of Conan.
Oh, wow.
It said the film mutated into a different version of Conan the Barbarian, 1982, which neither Danforth nor Baker were involved.
So he was just doing like storyboards or something for
Maybe
Conan?
So this was straight out of Wikipedia on Jim Danforth. He briefly joined producer Dan O'Bannon.
First, Dan O'Bannon's everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And this was on John Carpenter's Dark Star. But he also has a credit for doing some of the matte artwork for The Thing.
Man, I love a good matte painting. I'm saying that I love those when you can just make a painting seem like seamless into the.
And there's several spots like that in The Thing, which I think most notably is when they were going down into to where the spaceship was.
Yeah, all the like mountains around them, and it's just a big painting.
But after Danforth left Caveman, he went to work with assistant to Ray Harryhausen in Clash of the Titans.
So Ray Harryhausen just was if you want to do the animation thing, you've got to like go through him, right?
I guess so.
His animation thing is like the Bible to all the other guys.
But I want to go down more of this later in the yarn wall. I'll save a bit of it because there's a lot more, and I dig it. I really do dig it. So back to our movie at our hand, because our dinosaur is going after there's several dinosaur attacks in this film.
Yes.
Right? And Avery Schreiber plays Ock.
Yeah.
And he's the one that has the big mustache. He was known for this huge mustache.
Yeah, I think he had a sketch show or something. He does not look like an Avery Schreiber.
No.
He looks like Cheech Marin.
Yeah, exactly. But he's a good comic relief, especially in this. He's a goofball. I love it when he talks about how the guy got eaten by the dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nya macha, nya.
Yeah, mancha. Yeah, it's
hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it ate Nuta. I think that's what it was.
I'm looking at a picture of him on Match Game 73, and I mean, it's Richard Dawson, Charles Nelson Riley. Anyway, he's just in the corner with this giant mustache. He's just one of those actors that just pops up.
Mm-hmm. And played a lot of voices too. He played the voice of one of the Smurfs. Additional voices in the Smurfs.
He was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. He was in Dracula Dead and Loving It.
He was in Cannonball Run 2, uncredited.
Who wasn't in Cannonball Run 2?
He was in Saturday the 14th Strikes Back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you didn't want to mention it.
I didn't want to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring it up unless you brought it up.
So we go back and forth in our movie. There's just a back and forth of basically they're ostracizing Atuk or Sir Ringo Starr.
Yeah. Well, he's just an outcast. I don't know why. He's just can't do anything right, you know. He's kind of a earnest.
But I guess Lar, who is Dennis Quaid.
Yep, his buddy.
Yeah, they're just good. They're good friends. But I guess in this clan, if you're hurt, then you're just out. You're no good to us. You're bantha fodder.
Okay. I watched that scene several times when he hurts his foot and has to jump. Why? Why is his... I don't get it.
Why is his leg twisted around?
Yeah. Why is that?
He just got hurt somehow. He jumped on the tail of the dinosaur and the dinosaur flung him.
It's just the weirdest.
And somehow twisted his leg around, which is something I did when I was in grade school. Maybe twisted my leg around that way and wrapped it around itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I remember watching this when I was younger though, and you can hear Sir Ringo Starr when he's untwisting his legs or something, or when he's trying to teach him how to hop on one foot, you hear him whisper something like the other leg.
He just gains an understanding of like language in the... Yeah, I don't have anything to say about that. Okay. I am glad that we don't have to like go into the minutia of this movie because I don't want to.
And it's so simple of a plot. When we came off of movies that had no plot,
right?
And we tried to figure it out. This one we don't have to figure it out.
This movie's like saving grace is when like Shelley Long is introduced because she's literally like the most interesting thing that's happening besides the claymation.
And she is damn cute. I think there's a scene that Tunda like picks her up and throws her over her his shoulder and almost like swats at her butt or something like that. He's constantly like butt obsessed. Mm-hmm.
His move, when he needs to like kind of intimidate the other guys in the clan or whatever, his move is to kind of just kick them in the butt. Yeah. He does that a lot. Like he kicks like 5 or 6 people in the butt. It's weird.
When you look at Barbara Bach in this, I think, did I just remember her just being prettier than she is in this film?
Okay, we're going to have to tread real lightly here because she is pretty, but she just has kind of a
Cro-Magnon
she's just
appearance.
Okay, wait a minute. This is a Bond girl that you're talking about,
Which Bond movie was she in?
It is, man, I was just looking at it.
Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah, The Spy Who Loved Me. It's the one where he has the amphibian lotus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Everybody in this movie is touching everybody else. Mm-hmm. Which I think in this, maybe it's just me, having an aversion to it because of the coronavirus and stuff. I don't want to bring up the specter of like a pandemic in this podcast, but they're doing the opposite of social distancing. Mm-hmm. They are literally like rubbing it and just like sweaty, and they have, animal pelts on. Mm-hmm.
So in looking for food, and they find the marijuana plant that was growing berries.
That's more of I was likening it to it's kind of like a rohypnol bush or something. You think?
It's
like a date rape bush.
Grow on a bush?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's a date rape bush. It's just...
Look, it's...
Yeah, sure. Because that's exactly what he uses it for.
Exactly what he uses it for. He
taints some fruit to try to get...
Please don't say taint.
Don't say taint.
Because I've literally seen every portion of Dennis Quaid's buttocks.
I am 15 minutes into this where he sets the fruit up to date rape, drug Tunda so he can get at Lana, basically.
Yeah. Our main character is not there's a question of ethics and stuff and morals. And
here's one scene where they both roll over in their sleep as he's trying to just position her so he could get in to have sex. And John Matusak rolls over and farts at him.
Yeah, he does, in a thong, basically.
Yeah. This is a very awkward scene because I don't know that I knew what he was trying to do, because when I watched this, I was young too. I mean, I was 9 when this came out. I mean, granted, when I was 10, I was seeing The Entity in the theaters, but
sure. Me too.
But this was an awkward scene.
Yeah, I can see where you're confused, because I didn't get it either. I was like, what is he... And what is he trying to do?
And then when he finally jumps in to try to hump, he ends up humping the rock.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it really made no sense.
Nope. And then briefly kind of riding John Matusak.
Yeah.
Which is double uncomfortable. Sir Ringo Starr simulating sex with a Raiders linebacker. Not something I thought I'd ever say, and not something I thought I would ever want to watch again. The only reason I'm watching it, because my friend Tim decided to just...
Did you just put friend in quotation marks?
Quote. Friend, unquote.
This podcast is like a dare. What can we make each other watch?
Know. Oh my God. We ought to do like a palate cleansing movie.
That's what this was to street trash, though.
I think it was a real lateral move. I don't agree. I think it's just as bad. Maybe worse. Yeah. We ought to do Romancing the Stone one of these days. Man, I love that movie. Anyway. So yeah, he finds date rape berries.
Yep. He tries to have sex. He gets kicked out of the clan.
He's a real like sociopath. He knows what he's like. I know exactly what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to give them to that hot chick.
But he goes off on his own, and he finds Dennis Quaid, and there's a 10 moment, another Dudley Moore film, where they're running in slow motion towards each other.
Yes, Dennis Quaid and Sir Ringo Starr in slow motion.
In slow motion.
And I guess he's hopping. Ringo Starr's hopping in solidarity with
exactly.
He doesn't need to do that, but he's doing it because his buddy has some kind of condition.
And I guess I didn't realize that 10 was Dudley Moore in 1979. I didn't think that was that old.
I'd like to see, like, our fascination with prehistoric movies and stuff like that, because it seems like around this time, like the 70s, well, I mean, it goes back to the 60s. Like, I guess they've probably done those movies forever, but you got the same, like, playbook. I think they always show, like, the main character, whatever, sort of evolving, they're kind of like showing the missing link between Caveman and, you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Because Space Odyssey, or 2001, I think came out the same year. Am I wrong? 81?
No, it wasn't 81. I think it was earlier than that, wasn't it? 2001 or 2010?
2001.
2001 was 1968.
Wow, really? Man, I'm confused then. Well, it's just funny so that was 68?
That was 68.
And in 81, kind of like aping, oh man, no pun intended, that, God, do you want to just stop right now and just call it quits?
And that's a wrap.
Okay. Thank God. Thank God that nightmare is over. They play kind of like a 2001-ish, kind of Strauss, like the big drums and stuff. I can't remember what they're doing, but it's like when they're obviously like kind of ripping off 2001.
Okay, yeah.
I guess.
So I'm at 20 minutes into the movie, and which,
oh God,
sir, I'm just going to point out a couple of things. I found this was kind of amusing because this is right before one of the grossest scenes. that is so memorable for this movie.
Yes, which is probably the one memory that I have of this movie.
So you have Atuk and Lar talking to each other, and he's basically confessing his love to Lana, Atuk Kalunda Lana. But they're drawing in the sand, and he draws a little stick figure with huge boobs for Lana. And then Dennis Quaid draws another stick figure that was supposed to represent Atuk, and then draws a big nose on that on that stand stick figure. I just thought it was hilarious.
He does have a big nose. There's no
hiding
around
that.
it. No.
So they lay down to take a nap, and they play on the fact that
on some rocks.
Yeah, the nice, comfy rocks. That there's a fly that's buzzing around Sir Ringo, and then a giant. Oh, what would you call this? Is it a mosquito?
Mayfly?
Sure.
I don't know. It's making the noise. It's making the annoying noise of a mosquito,
which is about the size of a small dog that lands on his face. That lands on Dennis Quaid's face.
Lar.
Trying to shoo it off of his face, and
it looks like something you would get from like a Halloween store when they take over the Old Navy or something.
Sir Ringo just smashes it to his face.
Yeah, and also that is Dennis Quaid laying there while he is. I mean, he really fucking smashes it. That had to not feel good.
No, not at all. So yellow goop and stuff all over. Yeah, that's hilarious.
When I watched that scene, because it is probably the one scene that I do, it's barber box cleavage and the mosquito. That really, when he did that and you saw the slime on his face and stuff, that made my stomach flip worse than City of the Living Dead, where the girl was just barfing her entire intestinal tract. I was just like, this is it.
I just posted that scene of City of the Living Dead on our Facebook group. And I remember you talking about her demon,
kind of burping a little bit.
Yeah, it goes on for a lot more than I remembered watching.
Yeah,
it's
a long scene.
But yeah, she's just belching and gurgling for
foaming
a good 30, 40 seconds.
I love that last bit where all of the stuff kind of falls out. It's like trickling through. Like you get one intestine, and then it's blah, 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 the whole rest of her colon and
that's great.
Brilliant.
So we finally meet up with Shelley Long we assume, which is her dad, her blind dad, Gog.
Yes. I just feel like he was in History of the World. He's
could be.
It just seems like he would.
I left this movie rolling, and I have no problem with that.
So many guys' butt cheeks in this movie. Just don't. I get it. They're cavemen.
This part of the film is just basically how Sir Ringo and Dennis Quaid basically form their own clan.
Right.
And fighting off dinosaurs. And he's and I guess, what would you say? Accidentally, he's good at defending against dinosaurs.
I was going to talk about that. This is sort of part of a trend. I mean, around this, well, maybe not around this time. There's always been, Planet of the Apes and all these. I get my dogs.
Planet of the Puppy.
There's a Corman movie called Teenage Caveman with Robert.
Loggia?
Oh gosh, Robert Vaughn.
Okay.
And
Robert Loggia would have been better than that.
Yes. wait, that was I just did a. What was Johnny Carson's? Ed McMahon.
Ed
Sorry.
McMahon.
Okay. All right, we're getting way off topic again.
And there's a problem with that because...
No, I'd rather just talk to you than watch the rest of this movie. This is kind of out of context, but I just watched John, what's his name? What's the football player's name?
Matuzak.
John Matuzak, throw a big boulder, but he didn't let go of it. And he just went with it down the...
Earlier, he tried to throw one and he fell backwards.
Yeah, right.
So besides being this, big
he's just
brute,
a big guy, but he's not necessarily like, well, he's just dumb, I guess. The only takeaway from this movie is that Shelley Long is a great actress. That would actually be fine with me. Have you said anything at all about the back straightening evolution thing? Okay.
I mean, this is actually the evolution of man, I think, in this film.
Right.
They straighten their backs. Atuk has already shown himself to be a tinkerer, kind of, and he has a makeshift wheel that he shows off near the first of the movie.
Yeah, it's like an ab roller or something.
Yeah.
He's just got it. Yeah.
So
he invented the ab roller.
And they find fire, which he names it Haraka. They've straightened their backs. What else? They do a lot of things in this film just trying to say that this is the evolution of man.
I missed the lightning thing. Did lightning just happen to strike a fire pit that they had created?
No, they were hiding in a tree during a storm, and
right. Okay,
lightning struck, and very quickly they find out that fire hurts.
He's got like jelly on his finger, and did they just light his finger on fire?
But they also in this they create music, and this is the musical part coming up. I gotta say something about the music because the song is so fucking catchy.
Yes.
That I have been humming it and whistling it all week.
That song kind of pops into my head every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at least you know what I'm saying? And also, I haven't seen Transylvania 65000 in fucking like 20 years, but the phone tone, the ring, that do 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 do. It just pops in there every once in a while. And when I was listening to this little thing, I was like, "Oh my God, is that what that came from? Or are they imitating something else that sounds similar?"
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think that's just where it came from.
I mean, he's a Beatle.
Exactly. He should be creating.
There
music.
should be a catchy tune. That's the least that he could do. Do you think this was like a vehicle for Ringo Starr, or like
the Beatles being a band did not further his career as much as this movie? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, kind of.
This music little interlude is really
catchy,
fun,
and I like it. Yeah,
and they're playing Chicken Bones and blowing in jugs and
yep. Rhea Perlman's there in the background with an afro. There's a girl in here that has a big fro, and she kind of looks like Rhea Perlman.
But this is the only guy that speaks English is in their group now, right?
Yes.
And his name...
Wait, is it Shelley Long's?
No, it's the little...
Are you going to say Asian?
No, I wasn't going to because you got on to me before. But the little Asian guy...
yeah.
Since you brought it up first.
Yeah. When does he show up?
He's with the two gay cavemen.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh my God. You know who's hamming it up more than anybody else is the girl. I think it's the one that I'm calling Rhea Perlman. And she's cute, but she does some real to the camera, like she sticks her tongue out at a certain point. And, you know who I'm talking about? She's just one of the other cave girls, but she's funny. Anyway, she kind of looks like That chick that Brad Pitt's dating.
Sure. The only one that speaks English in this is Evan C. Kim.
Okay, right. Yes. The Asian guy.
He was in Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yes, I've already watched his scene and am happier for it. He was in a lot of stuff in the...
He was in Matt Houston.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, man. I love reading all of those when their TV work from the like 70s and 80s just goes on and on and on. And like they've been on Fantasy Island and freaking Love Boat. And just love it.
It's good stuff. But he was also in V, the TV series.
Right.
Knots Landing.
Okay, let's get back to the movie.
All right, back to the movie. We've now, I guess, given the creation of fire to the caveman.
Yeah. Pretty standard caveman. Oh, what I was going to say earlier is that, of course, Mystery Science Theater did a Roger Corman movie called Teenage Caveman with Robert Vaughn. Robert Vaughn is the titular teenage caveman. He's probably in his late 30s at that point.
Playing a teenager.
The one thing that I wanted to say is that, you know, MacGuffin or whatever for that is he runs into a tree and like bonks his head. And then when he wakes up, you know, he's like kind of evolved. He understands like how to make a bow and arrow. And
I'll try it tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a sharp blow to the head.
Hey, Doc, I got this one. Let me jump in there.
Yeah. I think I know a little bit about medicine.
This was always kind of fun. They're looking for food and they find that pterodactyl egg.
Yes.
I mean, the props in this even. That egg looks pretty damn cool.
Can I also say that whoever's doing the wardrobe, the clan that they're with, that like they're all wearing pelts, but the rest of them, I mean, you couldn't call them bad guys, but they're just kind of like the other, you know, they're what's his name? Tunda. His crew. Did you notice that they all have like lizard?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait a minute. Did their costumes change after they killed the... Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Because they've got like spikes coming out of the back and they look like it's like an armadillo when really it's just like some Viz Queen.
But they didn't actually kill a dinosaur yet.
No, they didn't. Right. That's what I was trying to figure out is all of a sudden his like underlings have this lizard. You know what? Never mind. Forget I brought that up.
It was a good try, though.
Okay, this is neither here nor there, and I don't want to make anybody mad, but did you notice there's one guy that's introduced later on that his arm is at an odd angle and he can't put it down? What is that about?
I think it was just a character choice.
But it's in such a specific way. Yeah. I think that's just... Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Because while they're carrying the pterodactyl egg, he's actually got the iguana, the caveman. He has a pet iguana, and he's kind of carrying it, but he's got it in his crooked arm. Yeah.
Sort of off the subject, but I'm just watching that scene where they have the fire, and man, Shelley Long's great. I love her. They were playing like that kind of Strauss music, you know, like 2001, that big, like bombastic music.
The good use of the tuba.
Yeah, exactly. Have I already mentioned that everybody in this movie looks like Brett Gelman? The guys that are spying on them from the woods or whatever. The guy looks just like Brett Gelman and Mantis and a member of the Allman Brothers. Oh yeah, you were okay. So that's when all these guys are introduced.
There you go.
Oh yeah, the gay guy. Okay, yeah. The taller gay guy with kind of the comb over. That he looks just like Brett Gelman. Okay, so this introduces the character of holy shit, I want to look at it. He's a little person, right?
Yeah, Taw's a little person. That's how we got to this film, because he was in...
Oh.
Yeah, he was in Willow. Or was he in Willow, or was it the other one? Yeah.
No, it was him. I looked at it earlier, and he's also in Legend. And
right.
Probably,
he was with Billy Barty, but they both played in Under the Rainbow, which I could have gone to this without going through Willow, but that was more fun.
I wish we had done Willow. Anyway, that guy's in Legend, and I was just looking at him, and like he had a bunch of makeup and stuff. Like Rob Bottin did all the makeup in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's what are they? They're elves, you know?
Yeah,
and
or sprites.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway.
Ta he was 4'11". They make him out to be a lot shorter than he is.
They're using some kind of like forced perspective stuff in this because that's why I was asked. Didn't want to, hurt anybody's feelings. He doesn't seem that small in stature.
Right. He died in 2003 of diabetes complications.
Great, Tim. So thanks.
Bringing you back down.
Everybody need to know that.
Yeah. Just want to know why you haven't seen Cork Hubbard anywhere else. So they're trying to get off with this egg, and there's a whole battle between Atuk's clan and Tonda's clan to get this egg.
Right, they've kind of separated at this point.
And Tonda's clan gets the egg, and the pterodactyl comes after him, and they drop the egg into kind of
like a
hot springs.
Yeah, or like a kind of just a little geyser, or like yeah.
And they fry the egg. And our guy that we were just talking about.
Technically, it's like a what do you call that when you crack an egg in it? Yeah, they're poaching. Let's look. The least that we can do in this podcast is at least try to get our cooking terms together.
And Carl Lumbly, this is the scene that I remember him from, is when he walks across the egg and he pops the yolk and then flops down in it and just kind of takes a bath in the yolk, splashing around.
So gross.
It's kind of gross. I wanted to bring up one of Folg's daughter. Now, one of the first people that Sir Ringo comes across is... there's a whole family living within this tiny, tiny cave. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of like a clown car because they pull him out and then there's like 6 or 8 that come out after. Right. They keep getting smaller and smaller. One of Folg's daughters is Gigi Vorgan. And Gigi played Brooke in Jaws 2. She was one of the girls
on the boat or something.
Yeah. That I think was one of the, yeah. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, Jaws 2 was in 1978, still 3 years before this.
Right.
So she was also one of the students in summer school.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, why do I not immediately know? Because that's one of my favorite movies ever.
Oh, so Bunnies from Hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was also a voiceover actor in The Burbs.
Yes, I saw that too. And who is she?
I have no idea. She's a voiceover actor.
I can't think of a time when they're using.
Nope. Oh, there's a ton of voiceovers. But maybe
Thorne Smith is in that movie.
Maybe it's part of when Corey Feldman's got a party going on his front porch, and there's just people talking.
Pizza Dude's here.
That's it.
Man, can we do that movie soon?
Every episode you ask, and every episode I say no. I am at 58 minutes into the movie. It's been just running in the background, and it's just now where. They have fought over the egg, and Tonda got to see that Atuk's clan is standing up straight. So he goes and pops everybody's back, including a little girl. And it was the cute little scene where he just kind of pokes him on her forehead.
Yes, that was cute. In a just pool of I just don't want to see that many guys in like furry underwear. They're in Mexico. It's probably hot. Probably a lot of chafing going on.
Then I'm on to a scene where they've got the dinosaur, T-Rex just following Atuk's clan, just kind of casually following him and tries to attack him. And that's when they shove some of the rohypnol bush into its mouth.
Uh-huh.
And he chews it up and then falls over all stone-like. Again, another scene that I probably didn't realize what was going on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm watching the scene where they're trying to carry the egg up the hill, and it's kind of Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Just speed up the video.
Oh, when they're running around the egg.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's the one when they're trying to carry it when it's going back and forth. They're trapped between two hills.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. The pterodactyl is probably the cheapest effect. But the drunk dinosaur, the drunk T-Rex.
Yeah, I like him.
When he's just waving his arms around. I mean, it's cute. It's not cheap. They really did spend some time on this. I mean, even in Clash of the Titans, some of the stop motion animation looked a little cheap.
Yeah.
And that was right after this.
Wow, that was Clash of the... Okay,
Clash of the Titans was 81.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that was just the state of things back then, I guess.
But how did this look so well with the dinosaurs looking so fluid in their movements?
Yeah, I don't know. And still kind of funny. They're not like super scary dinosaurs. They're just kind of cute, you know. You know what I love? Just Sir Ringo Starr just grabbing a hunk of egg and just pushing it into his bearded mouth. Guy from Mantis fell down in the yolk. It's disgusting. This is the grossest movie. I would rather watch City of the Living Dead while eating a tuna fish sandwich.
Remember when we watched that? That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. I did like that movie.
So, where are you now? Because I am...
Are we to Dennis Quaid being swept down the rapids?
Oh, did that happen already? No. Because this is caveman fishing. The men are holding the women by the ankles and dipping them into the water.
I mean, yeah.
Caveman fishing.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if it's going to get Barbara Bach wet, then we need to do everything in our power to... Dennis Quaid's really hamming it up. There's one scene where it's just like a doll or something that's going in between some really crazy rapids. When
he gets swept away by the water.
Yeah, there's one scene where it's not him. It's just very fake.
So what do they call it? Glug glug? That's because he drowned.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the caveman? That is weird that there's no dialogue in this movie.
Yeah. But you know what's going on. I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah, a great job?
Well, they did a job.
Yeah, an adequate job.
Telling a story without real dialogue, it's kind of tough to do. I mean, but then you have what? Did Quest for Fire have any real dialogue? No, just better actors, I think. I was trying to figure this out earlier, and John Matuszak comes out of the little pool with a crab. Yeah, with a crab on his nose.
Yeah, I was like, out of context, that was like, what is happening?
I guess is that a freshwater crab?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
But he wears that claw on his nose for quite a while. Just talking Lana.
Yeah, maybe it's Lobster Fest.
Later, so he loses Lana down the rapids, which Atuk basically just rescues her and takes her back to his place, right?
Yes.
So when Tonda's trying to find a new wife, it's almost inappropriate, right?
Yeah.
He's just trying them out, just looking at their butts, looking at their crotch, feeling of their boobs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking down their cave bras. Yeah, it's not good.
But funny. So we've got in a nearby ice age. So Dennis Quaid shows up in an ice age after he just washes away, comes out into a pool and starts pissing ice cubes.
Right. Which took me longer than it should have to figure out what he was doing.
Well, they don't immediately show the ice cubes. It's not until Atuk's clan goes and tries to find him that they see that the piss ice cubes. But now you've probably already looked this up, but our abominable snowman here that's chasing down Dennis Quaid is Richard Mole.
Okay, good. I could not verify that. There was a weird kind of incoherent post about it that had something to do with Richard Mole, but I assumed that's what it meant. Yeah, man, he's just like, as long as you need a 7 foot tall fucking mongoloid looking guy.
Yeah, even the abominable snowman was pretty well done, you know, for a hairy monster with very long arms. It was
about, normal for these, around this time.
Am I giving this movie too many props?
No, it's, I mean, like I said, I've seen it so many times, but it is very weird. It is a very weird movie.
And this movie made $13 million in the box office.
Wow. What do you think it cost to make it?
Couldn't find that information.
In 81, you said it made how much?
13.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like it's a success.
Oh, I'm sorry. 15. 15.9.
There's some really crappy special effects towards the end where they're going into the ice thing. They almost look like Lord of the Rings, the animated.
Mm-hmm. It does say here it got a 22% on Rotten Tomatoes.
He's not a midget. There, I just said it. He's not a midget. He's a normal guy.
I'm so glad you cleared that up. I don't know what are the parameters for M word. I thought we agreed we weren't going to say midgets.
Maybe he's just like a giant midget. They have those penguins that are just like way bigger than the other one.
He's an emperor midget.
Oh my God. Thank God that you can pick and choose what to.
Oh, that's staying in. That's gold.
Let's at least bleep it out. When John Matusak, what's his name?
Tonda.
Tonda. When Tonda finally gets his chick back, the old man like sniffs him.
Yeah.
What was that?
He's blind, so he didn't know it was Tonda.
Oh
when
my
he
God.
smelled his stench, he's like, "Oh, Tonda."
Okay.
Tonda.
That's a good joke.
So I'm to where they're trying to rescue Lar
from the ice thingy.
Yes.
Yeah. So the only part of the movie that I enjoy is the monster.
This is a decent set too. I mean, it's clearly a set, but it's,
I don't know, man. When he's supposed to be behind ice and it's just a bunch of Viz Queen that they like drew, they like painted, blue and white or something. That looks real cheap.
I think in some of the goofs in IMDb says, if you look closely, you can see Dennis Quaid blinking.
Right.
Thanks, Internet, for ruining everything. That was solid before you brought it up.
Do you think that was, because Star Wars, like they had that kind of weird snowman thing? Oh, wait, that was Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
They stole from this movie. Oh, my God.
Empire Strikes Back was 80. It was a year before this.
Right. That proves my theory.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm to the lineup, so Tonda's looking for a new host, right? Her hostess.
A new, oh gosh, what does Sharon Stone call him? I guess he's like a new provider.
There you go. Okay. Well, Shelley Long goes to tell him, tell Tonda that Lana's still alive. So she gets put into the lineup of potential girls. There's one girl that grabs her the cloth that's covering her breasts.
Yes.
She flips it up over her face.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks down her blouse.
She's like the quirky kind of cape, because she's the one that sticks her tongue out earlier.
Yeah, that's that one. But John Matuszak picks Shelley Long up and flips her over upside down to check out her ass.
Yeah, you see her whole butt. Which, Shelley Long, I mean, come on. We should say something. She has really long legs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a caveman movie, so she's just got a little skirt on the whole time.
And she's adorable.
It took watching Caveman to, now I'm going to have to go back and watch Cheers, but that's the character that she was in is like, just, kind of like fingernails on chalkboard a little bit, what I mean? She's just meant to be annoying,
So they inadvertently melt the abominable snowman while they're chipping away at the ice on Lar.
The snowman was pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
I liked that scene, him kind of rising up out of the water.
That's pretty cool. Creepy. Yeah.
And it just looks like a were-walrus or something.
You got to admit, this costume that they have given to Richard Mall with these extra long arms, but they even show off the snowman's ass.
Oh my God.
The abominable snowman is bald around his ass.
He's like going to a leather bar or something. It's got like assless chaps. Yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, okay, well, one more thing to be totally revolted by.
Good stuff.
No, it isn't. What do you think they made that set out of? I mean, wasn't that just plastic, like they had sprayed, olive oil on to make them all slide around? It's not like it was ice.
Yeah.
It's like they were on a slip and slide or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I just saw the scene where Gog was trying to pull at Tonda and got a big whiff of his armpit. Tonda just kicks him in the ass and kicks him over.
That's his move. That's his
it's a special move.
Go-to move. It's never not worked. So you know what I mean? He has a 100% rating on this.
All right, well, where are you?
I'm to the kind of big battle with Tonda and that whole like end scene.
Oh, what time?
Am I missing something?
Well, they were doing their training sequence.
Like a montage.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're making weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I can watch now. I kind of skipped over that. I knew what it was, so I was like, oh, brother, this is going to be... The only thing I have to compare this to is it's a lot like Teenage Caveman, or a movie like that where your main character is like evolving and, harsh setting. And
mm-hmm. I just saw the scene where they took Ta, the little one, and put him on a tree.
His name is Cork, Cork.
Ta is his caveman name, Ta.
Yes, right.
So they bent down a tree and just catapulted him up on top of
right, guys.
Tonda's cave.
This is not cool anymore, okay?
It's dwarf tossing.
I went along with it for, I'm only 2 feet shorter than you. I'm not that small. I'm not a midget. You keep dwarf tossing me.
Huge battle where they're using weapons against his clan.
Mm-hmm. There's one like dumb kid that has like a hubcap on his head, or it's like a turtle shell or something.
Uh-huh.
I saw him and I was like, where did he come from? He's just it's just an extra. I just watched that scene where I didn't know what you were talking about when they catapulted him. I feel sad for him after that. Like he kind of rolled around and then he has like armadillo armor on.
So here's probably one of the cheapest effects. when Atuk runs off and he comes back riding that
Yes.
chameleon. Is it a chameleon? Do we say that?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't want to. Yeah, it is a chameleon. It has those weird feet.
And the googly eyes.
Yes.
But they show him from the waist up, and but when he's fighting off the others from on top, he's totally claymation too, right?
Yeah, he's like Mr. Bill level claymation. It just looks like a kid put it together. Oh, there's like a educational show on Saturdays, like Davy and Goliath or something level. It's like we couldn't get the good clay. We just had to get this clay that was like on
This
clearance.
is the leftover clay.
They're completely sold out of the good clay. There is one scene where he kind of raises up off of that thing and he's holding that like antler spear or whatever. I don't know how because I think that's a shot of him. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? It looks really weird.
His legs are fake, but they've cropped him in.
Right, like hit from the waist up.
But when they show it from afar, it's all clay.
Yeah, it's just like a kid put a G.I. Joe on top of a fucking
But still, I mean, that was the cool. Cheapest effect.
Yes, that was the cheapest effect of claymation in this. Was Sir Ringo Starr immortalized in clay.
Big fight, and they take him down like David and Goliath, really.
Yeah.
And he puts a rock in a sling and takes down John Matuszak.
That also is one of the key parts of Clan of the Cave Bear.
Yeah.
Daryl Hannah learns how to use the sling. She's like deadly with the sling.
I did read that one of Feh that they say in this, and Shelley Long says that after Sir Ringo fells Tonda.
Totally understood.
And then he goes to pick up Barbara Bach, Alana, and starts going off to victory with her. And Shelley Long just kind of looks disappointed,
pissed off.
Yeah, and says "Feh," and I read that "Feh" was kind of like just the curse word for them.
Right.
He tosses Lana down on a big pile of dinosaur dung.
Yeah, throws her over somebody else, I think.
Yeah, we didn't even speak of that earlier in the film, that when they were going on a trek and Ta, the little one, had gone off to take a piss, and they thought that he had fallen into the big pile of dung, and they were all fishing through the dung looking for him, and that's where they did the doo-doo, caca, and shit.
Right. And then Jurassic Park stole it for that big Triceratops dump.
I thought it was that that's where they did the first dwarf tossing in that, when they grabbed him and threw him face first in the dung. That wasn't necessary, was it?
No, it wasn't. Remember when Billy Barty rolled down a street in San Francisco in a barrel?
In a barrel. All he was trying to do was sell Bibles. Beware of the dwarf.
Beware the dwarf. Oh, when John Matuszak actually kind of charges him on the iguana or the chameleon, it's clearly a stunt guy that they didn't even really try to make him look. I mean, he's got a beard, yes, he has dark hair, but that's it. And the camera's right on his face.
I'm going to back it up just so I can see it.
Hey, I know this has happened 15, 20 minutes ago, but the monster in the ice cave. Also, another Star Wars thing is that, have you ever seen the grandpa in the Star Wars holiday special, the Christmas thing?
No, I don't think I've ever seen that.
He looks just like the thing that, Richard Mall.
Mm-hmm.
But he's in a recliner and watching like VR porn. So anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I was going back to see the obvious stuntman here.
Yeah. I just, all those people came to work every day and just, maybe it was great,
They probably had a good time.
What's that movie with Elizabeth Hurley and Brendan Fraser where he gets to like pick, he makes a deal with the devil, basically.
It's not Bedazzled, was it?
No.
Well, what was that?
Bedeviled?
No.
She's like the devil, isn't she?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, anyway, but he picks a lot of like, he's like a drug kingpin. He's like a NBA star or something. I just want to be Steve Reeves in Italy in like the mid 60s. He just hung out and worked out and drank wine and,
It is. It's called Bedazzled.
Huh. That means something different now.
Yes, it does. I've never seen it, and I pulled that one out my ass.
Okay, so
Caveman, we covered 3 to 4 minutes of the movie.
Is that it? Are we at the end?
Yeah. He fights Tonda. He wins. He dumps his future wife into a pile of poop.
Yeah. He has a new pelt.
Mm-hmm.
And Dennis Quaid has sort of like a dinosaur pelt thing.
So in this, they did give credit to the dinosaurs,
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that. It was like, T-Rex plays himself.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Your crazy credits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, kooky.
That's how crazy they got back in the day.
Why does he shake her head like that?
I don't know. He's maybe she refused to kiss him. I don't know.
I 100% think it was something like that.
Instead of an embracing moment, they just shake each other's heads.
Yeah.
With their hands full of hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's weird.
Very weird.
I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy that movie.
It was fun to revisit. It was.
It really was on all the time when I was a kid. But you know what's weird? I don't remember the whole Richard Mole thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I remember literally everything, like the bug and...
You just don't remember the abominable snowman in there?
No.
Is that where you fell asleep every time?
I guess. But that was pretty... that's the part that I enjoyed the most out of the movie.
I mean, this one did belong in the moratorium. Because I remember when we were at the video store, it was one that people asked about, and I could not find a copy.
Right.
Anywhere. It just was unavailable. I think I read that it was first on DVD in 2002.
Yeah. There's a couple of movies like that for me. I've only seen them on TV, and I've never gone back and I don't want to do a spoiler, but there's one that I've really got in my back pocket that I'm going to try to.
Do you want to save it for me, or if you want me to spare the audience, I'll bleep you out.
I don't. No, you'll figure it out when
we get there.
Yeah,
that's something I enjoy, just taking you down my yarn and surprising you.
Taking you down my yarn.
Mm-hmm.
Good euphemism for something.
It was a Paul Williams tune. Taking you down your yarn.
Ugh, that's gross. He's right there with Cork
Hubbard.
Coming for you, Cork.
Man, Paul Williams is 5'2".
Yeah, a little guy.
And he's known for such timeless classics as We've Only Just Begun, Rainy Days and Mondays, Just an Old-Fashioned Love Song, and The Rainbow Connection.
Mm. Well, while you were saying all that, I was looking at a picture of Billy Barty dressed up as octopus lettuce and Rip Taylor right behind him on his knees dressed as like a cabbage, but with the Rip Taylor mustache. Man.
Man. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah. I think what I am taking away from this movie
is indigestion.
I liked it. It was fun to watch. I just can't believe that I was so excited to see it back then. Like, there's so many things that I didn't even understand what was going on. You know? But
no, we were just seeing dinosaurs, haven't we all?
Right. And Barbara Bach's
Barbara Bach's boobies.
Sweater puppies.
The triple B's.
Her and Ringo were married after this.
Right. She hasn't made any movies since the 80s.
Yeah, she was in Screamers. I meant to bring that up earlier because I watched it not too long ago. I think that's a Roger Corman movie.
Dude, Ringo Starr is only 5'6".
Was.
What do you mean was? He's still alive.
Ringo's alive?
Yeah.
I thought that all the...
No, he's still alive.
Oh, I thought those guys came back from the future and...
Oh my gosh, he's still married to Barbara Bach. His trademark, he often has a beard. He has a trademark that he's making the peace sign.
Okay. I don't think... Oh, man.
Do you have to pay him to use that?
My takeaway from this movie is that Shelley Long is awesome, and I think I'm going to
end with that.
Did you ever watch Cheers?
Yes, endlessly.
That's the real comforting. I think my wife kind of watches Seinfeld like that. It's just a low hum in the background, but
I'd rather watch Cheers.
Yeah, for sure. Think Billy Barty was ever in Cheers?
As a stool?
What if that's what George went with sitting on the entire time? You never see what he's sitting on. It might as well be Billy Barty.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Talk about the union, like he needs to get with his representative and it's not a good job.
That's awesome. I'm glad that glad we can kick a man while he's down. Dead.
No. Oh man. I saw the Money Pit in the theaters. Just throw that in there too.
Shelley was enjoyable throughout her career. She showed up recently.
She's on Modern Family.
That's it.
It's their grandmother.
Right.
Yeah. It's
the ex-wife of
the guy from Married with Children.
Right.
Yeah. She's awesome.
Dutch. Was that?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I saw that at the theater.
Oh my God. He was the disco duck in Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Remember that? The guy that was trying to
got Ed O'Neill. We couldn't think of Ed O'Neill.
He did it was Booty Time, wasn't it? Booty Time. Across the USA. Wasn't that it? Am I losing my mind?
You probably are. Still, yes.
All right, I'm just going to announce it right now. The next week's episode is going to be, we're going to skip the yarn wall and just go straight to the Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
Calling it.
It's going to be a two-parter. There's a lot to talk about.
Man, throughout the years, Cheers has had a ton of people. Yeah.
Guest stars.
Jennifer Tilly. She was in an episode.
Oh, man.
Talk about boobs. PJ Souls was in there.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Nancy Cartwright.
Huh.
Wow. Lots of people.
Oh, man. They ought to reboot Cheers as like a horror movie. I remember being scared by a episode of Cheers when Carla moved to that place, like by the airport, and she thought that it was like haunted.
That's funny.
Remember that? No,
I don't remember that episode.
Okay, well, I
think we've gone to the end of the internet.
Yeah. And, any stray strands we'll
sweep it up later.
Yeah. Well, that was good.
That's fun. We got through it. That was actually the first movie that we have covered and not really covered.
Yeah.
And we still covered it.
It was playing in the background while we were talking.
Oh, it's good times. All right, then. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Signing off?
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
You've been listening to The Moratorium, an MT Cornfield production. For more fun and stupidity, stay tuned. Next week, Jason and I break down this Cro-Magnon comedy and dive deep into a couple of little-known actors to shed some light on their, well, let's just say, interesting careers. Look for the Moratorium Facebook group to keep up with all sorts of crap that I post about all the movies that we cover. You can also follow me on Twitter at TCBoogieDown. Again, please like, share, and subscribe, then rinse and repeat. We appreciate your support. If you have any movie suggestions, or just want to tell us how much we really suck, you can contact us at moviemoratorium@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and long live VHS. He's an emperor midget.
Oh my God.